And a super good morning to you, and a happy Thursday. And yes, I was up early at not quite 6 o'clock in the morning, but I was definitely up at my desk at first light, just like Hemmingway used to do. And the time is now 10:30, so I've gotten a good, I'd say, 3.5, pushing 4 hours of writing in. 2,400 words complete. One staple post done. It's 9 images, all edited, put together. Everything's put together. I haven't hit the publish button yet because I must still write out the social media post that will be going with that specific blog post. So as soon as I've written the social media post, I'll be ready to hit that one and then roll straight into, I've got two response posts coming up, and I've got a third post, which is another staple post, lined up to come just behind that one, and I'll see how many of those other 3 posts I can get through still during the course of today, as well as, I think it's 4:15 this afternoon, I've got a Project 24 mastermind session with Nathan about the intricacies of Ezoic and seeing if there's anything there that I can do to be able to increase my Ezoic CPM, my Ezoic, the rate that they pay me per 1,000 page views. Because if I can increase the CPM by even just a little bit, that'll bump up my overall earnings, considering that across my blogs I'm sitting on about between 50 and 60,000 page views. So if I can increase the CPM even by a little amount, even by a small amount, that will be a decent amount of income. For instance, even if I increase the overall CPM by 50 cents per 1,000 page views, that's 50 cents by say 50,000, that'll be 50 times a half, that's an extra $25. That'll pay for coffee for here where I am, that'll pay for coffee for almost a whole month. So why not? Anyway, speaking of coffee, let me get coffee brewing and breakfast made, and then get stuck into the rest of my Hemmingway content. As I said, 10:30 in the morning, 2,500 words written, and an entire staple post. The staple post that I wrote yesterday, I've now done all of its images and set it all up ready for publishing, so which means that I'll be able to get at least the publish button hit today, which is a wonderful source of motivation. Hit the publish button, dopamine hit, roll into the next post. But I'm prattling on for way too long at the moment. Let me get stuck into things. Hey, good afternoon. The time has just gone 5:30 in the afternoon, and I can give you an update on my word count for today, following the Ernest Hemingway system of writing. And I broke off from my writing, knowing exactly what's coming next, which means that when I sit down tomorrow morning, I can be off to the races and flying and hit my first 1,000 words before I've even properly rubbed the sleep out of my eyes. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how that progresses. Anyway, word count for today is 3,262 words, which I must say is something that I can be happy with. It's hit the 3,000 mark, which is the total that Stephen King hits on a daily basis when he's working on a new novel. So I'm nudging up close in that type of direction. I sincerely hope that I can maintain this type of output all the way through until the end of the year. That should set me up really well into the beginning of the new year. Anyway, some useful information that I've learnt from none other than Ernest Hemingway, that I've applied to a couple of my blog posts. And I've actually managed to turn around, reverse some of those negative effects that came from the Google helpful content update. And I need to pick up my little Ernest Hemingway quotations card here quickly, so that I can read to you and get the words exactly as Ernest Hemingway said them, and then I'll explain to you how I was able to apply that on the blogging front and be able to reverse those negative effects from the Google helpful content update that the vast majority of us were hit with over the course of these last couple of months. So Hemingway says, write concisely and remove words that get in the way of the story. Now, Google's helpful update is the more concise your writing is, the more you'll be able to help the reader more quickly when they're reading your content. In other words, the way you use subheadings, the way you break up your text, no massive blocks of text, little short paragraphs that are easily readable, easily scannable. But even within that, and I took this Hemingway quote about write concisely and remove words that get in the way of the story. And I took, I think it was 7 or maybe 8 of my blog posts that really dropped down the rankings after this latest helpful content update. So it's basically posts of mine that were sitting on page 1. And with the helpful content update, they dropped down to page 3 or even worse, 5, 6 or something like that. And I left them there for the first, I think, 6 weeks or something like that, just to see how everything would be balanced out. And those are the ones that didn't come back up on their own. So what I did with those was I took this Hemingway quotation and I went through those blog posts and I actually edited them down and took out probably, I had one post there that lost a lot of ranking. It was on, I think, the performance enhancing effects of caffeine on ultra trail runners. And I think with all of my case studies and scientific reports that I had in there, I think I had something like 6,500 words for that blog post. And I just went down through that post. I mean, we're talking about something that's way down on page 4 or 5 of Google. So it's not, so if I do something to it and the ranking gets worse, it's not exactly like the amount of traffic you get from page 5 versus the amount of traffic you get from page 7 is going to have that much of a difference. Anyway, so what I did was I edited down that post and I took it down from about 6,500 words, and I took about 25% of the word count out of that. So that's what, about 1,500 words. So I took it from 6,500 words down to just under 5,000 words. I reduced the length of that post by about 25%. Lo and behold, I'm back up to page 1. What I did was I did that. I updated the post. I resubmitted that updated post into Google Search Console to be re-indexed, be re-ranked, and bang, that post that used to be ranked at I think number 7 on page 1 before the helpful content update took it down to about page 5. That's now back up, and what's more, it's back up to position 5 on page 1. So not only is it back up to page 1, but it's back up to page 1 at a level that's higher than where it was. So what I'm going to be doing with a couple of the other posts that are dropped way out of the ranking, I'm going to go into those, edit them down, see if I can take out about 20-25% of the words. If I can find that there's a whole lot of fluff words in there, bring it down, make it more concise, make it more easily readable, and see if I can use that to lift those other blog posts as well. But anyway, so if you've got a blog post that's lost its ranking and it's a long blog post, see if you can edit it down and bring your writing within that post down to be a lot more concise, and maybe you too will be able to bump yourself back up the rankings to where you were before, or even higher, like what I had with the caffeine post. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. 3,262 words done, and we've got Friday coming up, and then a weekend. and I'm way ahead as far as NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo has got me on a 50,000 target for the month, and I'm already over 20,000 words, and tomorrow's only the 10th of the month. So actually, I think I'm on about 22,000 words. So potentially tomorrow on the 10th of the month, will already hit halfway, which is what I was wanting to do, because next week, Tuesday, my sister's coming to visit for 13 days, and I'm not too sure at the moment what volume of writing I'll be able to get out over this 13-day period. So at least I'm well ahead of the game at the moment. Anyway, more on that next time, but have yourselves a superbly good night, and I'm going to be editing this video to try and get it out within the course of this evening. If not, it'll be coming out to you tomorrow morning. Either way, have yourselves a good night, and let's smash out the content and motivate each other. Cheers.